Morning guys. Today I'm going to be installing the front Summo springs on my 2018 Thor Freedom Elite on a E350 Super Duty chassis with a 6.8 motor on it. I've heard some pretty good reviews online and by reading articles that these things do really work and are worth the money. I ran airbags before on the rear. Never had this on the front. I had airbags on the front as well, but never this. So we'll give it a shot. These are rated at 500 pounds at 50% compression. There are some that are up to 1,000 pounds, but my front end is pretty light, so this should do just fine. I got the blue ones. Really easy to do. By comparison, you can look at the size. This is the original. This is the one that I'm going to be installing. I'm also going to install the rear Summo springs. Those are just bolt-on. Just gotta open up the holes onto the frame to add these brackets. Again, as it is right now, my RV is not one of the top line or the upscale model. It's the entry level, so it didn't come with all the goodies. But I've been doing the front end myself. So far, I installed the front sway bar. It's a Hellwig. The original sway bar was maybe under an inch thick. The new one is almost twice the size, and it does help a lot from going, side to side or going like this when you go over uneven terrain. I've also installed the reflex steering stabilizer. This baby right here is well worth the money. Along with the front sway bar, it'll keep your RV from going left to side or wandering when you encounter high winds or you're crossing a semi or passing a semi rather. These right here are really simple. Again, I never used them before, but I've heard some pretty good reviews about them. So we're gonna get started. I already did the left side, the driver's side. I'm gonna do the passenger side. And on the E350, you don't need this nut right here because it threads onto the existing bolt once you take off the old bump stop. Again, this is my Thor Freedom Elite 2018 on an E350 chassis, and I'll show you guys what I've done so far to it. I added a draw tight front hitch either to take my bikes or when we go off-roading and I get into pretty bad terrains where I could use a winch. So I have a 12,000 pound winch that I put onto the front. Should I ever get stuck, I can get myself out of a bind. This is my reflex steering stabilizer. Well worth the money. This is my front sway bar. Combined, these two was less than 500 bucks. These alone could go for up to 300. Shop around. I pay 180 for it. This was about 320. I pay, I believe, 200. And this bracket right here, it goes for 125, 140. I pay 60 bucks for it. Make sure to get it from under, different vendors. Save some money. Installation is pretty simple. Bolts right on. Bolts right on. Take the old one, put the new one on. Again, if you take it to the RV shop or to a dealer, they'll probably charge you up to $1,000 just to get this done. Again, my RV is not high end, so it doesn't have all these goodies. But again, I was able to get what I needed for half the price. I'm not a mechanic. I don't claim to be, but I also don't like to pay for stuff that I could do myself. This is the original Summo springs. This one is already installed. This is the old one. And the little nut that holds it is just this right here. This is the only thing that holds it. And this is the one that I'm going to be installing. You don't need anything else. Just take off the old one, put this on a con, and screw it on. Word of advice: make sure you use the correct jack stand, rated for the way you're lifting. I like to do the jack and the jack stand together. Should one of them fail, I get a contingency so it doesn't come down. Also, keep your fingers away from any moving parts, especially this right here. Could crush your hands. acts like a scissor, so you don't want to have your hands in there when you're working on them. So make sure you keep your hands away from that. And once you have enough clearance, sorry for the phone guys, it's really shaky. Once you have enough clearance, use a 10-inch socket with a short extension, put it in there, keep your hands away from any moving parts. All right, and once you have it on, you can start taking it out. And this is not really, you know, stuck in there. See, it doesn't have a lot of pressure to take it off. See, it's hard to do with one hand, guys. Sorry, I don't have a helper to hold my camera steady. But you could see it's coming along just fine. I probably shouldn't be doing this, you know, putting my hand in there, but I can do. Those bumpers have a guide that goes into the frame, but really it's not it's just rubber. My front end, it's pretty soft. These RVs, you know, off the factory, if you don't get the higher, you know, models, they're really undersprung. You can feel every bump on the road. Unless you get, like I say, you know, the $150,000 one, then you have the upgraded suspension on them. This is just the entry level, so it doesn't have all the goodies. But again, I don't like to pay to get my stuff done. I do it myself. Overall, these were, I believe, $125 for the pair. Between the front suspension, I have less than, I want to say, $700 invested, and I've done all the labor myself. When you're doing this, make sure you tread them correctly. You don't want to over tread them, because then it's going to be a pain in the butt to chase those threads and, you know, fix them. That's done. It should look just like that. Again, guys, I'll be doing the rear either today or tomorrow. I'll put an update on that, and till then, happy trails.